We're tackling Think and Grow Rich. Gotta admit, this one had me a little intimidated when I first saw it on the list you all sent.
Yeah, it's a classic for a reason, right?
For a reason. And it really makes me think about you, the listeners, choosing this for a deep dive means you're not here to just dream about success.
You're ready to do something about it.
Exactly. So picture this. Young Napoleon Hill, fresh out of journalism school, suddenly face to face with Andrew Carnegie, the steel tycoon. Can you imagine?
That's like the Elon Musk of his time, right?
Totally. But instead of spaceships, we're talking libraries, universities.
Don't forget the bridges.
Oh, right, the bridges. Point is, Carnegie was a titan. So when this guy decides to share his money-making secret, you listen up. But it's not that simple. He gives Hill this insane challenge.
Yeah.
Go spend the next 25 years proving it works.
See, and this is key. Carnegie wasn't out to create some get-rich-quick scheme. This was deeper. It's about unlocking potential, not just your bank account. Okay, now I gotta know, what was the secret? It's all about your mind, like really harnessing the power of your own thinking to achieve anything you set your sights on.
So less about stock tips, more about, rewiring your brain.
Exactly. And to prove it, Hill spent decades studying over 500 successful people. We're talking Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, John Wanamaker. These were giants.
These weren't folks who just wished on a star. These were people who acted. They had this burning desire. And that's actually perfect because it leads us to Hill's first principle, burning desire.
And he means burning, not just kind of hoping, but this intense fire that pushes you forward.
And to illustrate this, there's this incredible story in the book about a young boy, deaf and mute, who wanted something almost everyone thought was impossible. No spoilers, but the outcome. Amazing.
What that story shows is just how strong we can be when we tap into that deep desire, pushing past doubt, past the fear of failure. That's powerful.
It really is. And it makes me think about that other story from the book, the guy who stopped digging for gold 3 feet from striking it rich.
Oh, that one's heartbreaking. Imagine being that close to your dream and giving up.
Right. Talk about a lesson in perseverance. I know I've almost quit things right before they were about to work out.
Hill really makes you confront that, doesn't he? Like, how much do you actually want something? Do you believe you can get it?
It's like he's saying, are you going to be that guy who stops 3 feet from gold?
Right. And are you surrounding yourself with people who encourage you or hold you back?
Which brings us to this idea of a mastermind, right?
It's like you're assembling this dream team.
Well, yeah.
But instead of athletes, it's the people who make up your own personal board of directors.
Okay, I like that. So each person is chosen for a reason. They complement your strengths. They fill in the gaps where you need it.
Exactly. Like, none of us can be experts in everything, right?
Right.
Even someone as brilliant as Henry Ford, he relied on his mastermind big time.
Which is interesting because people probably think of Ford as this lone genius, Revolutionized the auto industry all by himself.
Locked in a garage somewhere.
Yeah.
Out pops the Model T.
Exactly. But it wasn't like that at all.
Nope. Ford had this trusted group, his advisors, his mastermind, and they're the ones who helped him actually build this whole empire. Like, when Ford was having trouble producing enough Model Ts, his mastermind came up with the assembly line.
Right. Changed everything about how we make stuff.
Huge.
And it makes success feel, I don't know, a little less intimidating. You don't need to know it all, but find the right people to figure it out with you. But Hill doesn't just tell us to go find a mastermind, right? He actually says how to do it.
Yeah, he gets super specific.
And this one part I thought was interesting. He talks a lot about harmony in the group. Why is that so important?
Because it's not enough to just get a bunch of smart people in a room, right?
Yeah.
You got to have that mutual respect, that comfort level where everyone can actually share their ideas.
Otherwise, it's just everyone trying to show off or something.
Exactly. It's like finding that balance between individual brilliance and true collaboration.
Makes sense. Okay, so we've got this burning desire. We're building our mastermind. What else does Hill say we need to turn that desire into reality?
Well, this is where it gets interesting. He has a whole chapter on what he calls sex transmutation.
Okay. I gotta admit, of all the chapters, that's the one I was both curious and a little apprehensive about.
Yeah, I get it. The title definitely raises some eyebrows, haha.
To say the least.
But before you get the wrong idea, remember, Hill's using sex more broadly here.
Okay, so not what it sounds like.
Not exactly. He's talking about that raw energy, that drive, that passion that fuels all desire,
Okay, I think I see where you're going with this.
And he said you can harness that energy, like redirect it towards other stuff. Creative stuff, productive stuff, not just the physical.
So instead of just, I don't know, expressing it physically, you take that intensity and use it to fuel your goals, your ambitions.
Exactly. You're recognizing how powerful that energy is and transforming it.
Hill even says this whole process can unlock like a higher level of creativity. He calls it the sixth sense.
It's like he's saying, don't suppress your desires, transform them. That intensity, when you channel it right, can give you this amazing intuition, a way of seeing things others don't.
Okay, that's where it gets really interesting for me.
And he uses all these examples. Like,
Yeah.
look at someone like Muhammad, that spiritual drive, that desire to change the world. Hill says it comes from the same place as any ambition, any field. Even artists, inventors, pouring themselves into their work, that focus, that energy, that's sex transmutation too. It's about tapping into that deep well inside you and using it to fuel your dreams, whatever they are.
I like that. But even with all this, the desire, the mastermind, this transmutation, there's still something that can mess it all up.
Oh, absolutely. And Hill knew this. That's why he dedicates a whole chapter to fear. Specifically, the 6 basic fears he says hold everyone back.
Yeah, fear's a killer, isn't it? So what are they?
Okay, so there's fear of poverty, obviously. Then fear of criticism, fear of ill health, fear of loss of love, fear of old age, and, well, fear of death.
It's a pretty comprehensive list. And, thinking about all the deep dives you all request, the ones that involve, taking risks, being courageous, putting yourself out there, I gotta wonder if the fear of criticism, that one hits home for a lot of you.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It's that voice in the back of your head, right? Telling you you're not good enough, not smart enough, not worthy of success. And it stops us from going after what we want. Because who wants to be judged?
I bet that's even worse these days, right? Social media, everyone's got an opinion. It's like this constant possibility of criticism no matter what you do.
Exactly. But here's the thing Hill says that I find so interesting.
Yeah.
He says the real enemy isn't any one of those fears. It's how vulnerable we are to negativity in general.
Okay, so it's less about conquering each fear one by one and more about like building up some kind of resistance to it. Like negativity just bounces right off.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. It's like we're surrounded by these, I don't know, negative voices,
Yeah.
always whispering doubts, trying to bring us downhill, saying we got to figure out how to tune that stuff out.
So how do we actually do that? How do we build that like mental shield?
Well, he's got some tools for that.
Yeah.
One of the big ones is autosuggestion, which sounds kind of fancy.
Yeah, it does.
But it's basically about feeding your mind positive stuff, like on purpose.
Yeah.
You're repeating these positive thoughts, these beliefs, until they become automatic.
So you're training your brain to focus on what you want to believe instead of letting the negative stuff take over.
Exactly. And to help with this, he has this whole thing called the self-confidence formula, which is basically a bunch of affirmations, things you tell yourself to reprogram your mind for success.
Can you give me an example? Like what's one of those affirmations?
Okay, one that I really like is, I will not be influenced by the opinions of others who are not engaged in the same pursuit as myself. It's a mouthful, but...
No, I get it. It's like, I'm not going to let the haters distract me because they're not even on the same journey.
Right. But it's not just about blocking the bad stuff. Hill also says surround yourself with good influences. People who lift you up, who inspire you, not the ones who drain your energy.
Makes sense, because who you spend time with, it really does affect you.
Huge. So we're building that mental toughness, but also choosing who we let into our lives. Which brings me to one of my favorite ideas from the book, and it ties into this. It's the invisible counselors.
Oh, yeah, I love that one too. So you're basically creating this dream team, but instead of real people, it's like the figures from history, right? People you admire.
Got it. You choose these people, could be anyone, living or dead, but whose qualities you want to embody. You want to be more courageous, put someone brave on your council, you're trying to be a better leader. History's full of them.
And then it's like they're with you, right? Giving you advice even though they're not actually there.
Exactly. You're tapping into their wisdom, their energy. It's like having a direct line to some of the greatest minds ever.
Didn't Hill do this himself too?
Oh, absolutely. He had Emerson, Lincoln, Edison, even Napoleon himself. He'd had these imaginary meetings with them every night, visualizing their guidance.
That's wild. See, this is what I love about this book. It gives you these tools, these ideas that you can actually use to achieve your goals, whatever they are. And, if there's one big takeaway from Think and Grow Rich, it's that success isn't about getting lucky. It's about deciding what you want, believing you can get it, and then doing the work.
And not being afraid to ask for help along the way, right? Finding those mentors, those guides, even if they're just in your imagination for now.
100%. So here's my challenge for everyone listening. Who would be on your invisible council? Whose qualities do you admire most? Take some time to really think about it, write those names down, because I have a feeling those seeds of greatness, they're already inside you. This book, this conversation, it's just the water to help them grow.
Nicely said. I think Hill would approve.
I hope so.
Yeah.
All right, everyone, that's it for this deep dive on Think and Grow Rich. Go put those principles into action and let us know what you achieve.